The station called floated alone in the darkness of space. It orbited a small moon at the edge of known territory, far from any major trade routes. The station was human-built, human-run, and almost completely empty. Stood at the observation window and watched the stars. She was the chief engineer and commander of. She had been here for 2 years, and in that time only a handful of ships had stopped for repairs. Most aliens did not trust humans. They thought humans were too young, too primitive, too strange. Human technology was different from galactic standards, and different meant dangerous in the eyes of most species. "Another quiet day," said her junior technician. He was young and eager, always looking for something to do, but there was nothing to do. The repair bays were empty. The tools were clean. The station hummed with power that no one needed. "Quiet is not always bad," said, but she did not believe her own words. She had built this station to help people. She had trained her whole life to fix broken things, and now she stood here, useless, watching empty space. Then the sensors beeped. Ran to the console. His eyes went wide. A ship coming in fast, it's in trouble. Moved to his side. The screen showed a vessel tumbling through space. It was leaking atmosphere. Its engines fired in random bursts, trying and failing to stay stable. The ship was dying. "Open a channel," said. The screen flickered. A face appeared. It was not human. The creature had pale blue skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its mouth was thin and tight with pain. Behind it could see smoke and sparks. "Attention, damaged vessel," said. "This is repair station. We can help you. Please dock at Bay 3. The alien stared at her. "You are human." "Yes. I am, captain of the trading vessel, I am." Nodded. She had heard of they were merchants and travelers, known for their distrust of outsiders. "Captain, your ship is failing. Let us help you." His 4 eyes narrowed. "Why?" "Because you need help." "Nothing is free," said. "What do you want from me? Credits, cargo, information?" Shook her head. "We can discuss payment later. Right now, you need to dock before your ship tears itself apart." Looked at something off-screen. Heard alarms screaming in the background. She saw fear in those 4 alien eyes. Fear of dying, fear of trusting, fear of humans. "I have heard stories about your kind," said. "Humans are dangerous. Humans are unpredictable." "Maybe," said, "but we are also very good at fixing things. And right now your ship needs fixing. Please, Captain, let us help." For a long moment said nothing. Then the screen went dark, held her breath. Had he refused? Had he chosen to die rather than trust a human? Then the docking sensors activated. The ship was coming in. Let out a breath. "He's docking." "Get the repair kits ready," said. "Full emergency response. I want that ship stable within the hour." The docked with a heavy thud. The airlock hissed open and smoke poured into the station, and ran inside without hesitation. They wore no protective suits. There was no time. The ship was worse than had expected. Cables hung from the ceiling like dead vines. The floor was slick with coolant. Every system screamed warnings in a language she did not understand, but damage was a universal language. She knew exactly what was wrong. "The main power coupling is cracked," she said. "Seal the atmospheric leak on the port side. I'll stabilize the reactor." Stood in the doorway of his own ship, watching them with all 4 eyes. He did not move to help. He did not speak. He simply watched. Worked fast. Her hands moved without thinking, guided by years of training and instinct. She pulled out the damaged coupling and replaced it with a spare from her belt. The metal was hot enough to burn, but she did not stop. She could not stop. Lives depended on her. 2 hours passed, then 3. The smoke cleared. The alarms went silent one by one. The ship stopped shaking. Sat on the floor, exhausted. His face was covered in grease and sweat. I think we did it." Checked the systems one more time. Reactor stable, life support at full, engines offline but safe. She looked at. "Your ship will live, Captain." Stared at her. "You did not ask for payment first." "No." "You did not demand a contract." "No." "You ran into a burning ship without protection." "Yes." His thin mouth opened and closed. He seemed to be searching for words. "Why?" Wiped her hands on her jacket. "Because you needed help. That is enough reason." "But you are human. We are not allies. We are not friends. We are strangers." "So?" Had no answer for that. Smiled. "Your ship needs more work. The engines have deep damage. It will take a few days to repair properly. You can stay on the station. We have food and rooms. Rest. Recover. We will take care of your ship." She turned and walked toward the exit, followed her yawning. Stood alone in his broken ship. He looked at the repairs the humans had made. The work was not elegant, it was not pretty, but it was strong, it was solid, it would hold. He thought about all the stories he had heard about humans. They were monsters, they were savages, they would eat you alive if you gave them the chance. But these humans had run into fire to save him. They had worked for hours without rest. They had asked for nothing. Did not understand. He could not understand. In all his years of trading across the galaxy, he had never met anyone who helped strangers for free. Everyone wanted something. Everyone had a price. So what did the humans want? He would watch them. He would wait. And when they finally revealed their true purpose, he would be ready. But as he walked to the room they had prepared for him, he noticed something strange. The bed was soft. The temperature was perfect. There was even a note on the pillow, written in careful script, "Welcome, rest well." Held the note in his hands for a long time. He did not sleep that night. He sat by the window and watched the humans work on his ship through the darkness, their lights moving like stars in the repair bay. They did not stop until morning. Woke to the sound of music. He had not meant to sleep. He had planned to watch the humans all night, to catch them in whatever secret plan they were hiding. But exhaustion had taken him, and now morning light filled his room. The music was strange. It had rhythm and melody, but the words were in the human language. He did not understand them, but something about the sound made him feel calm. He hated that feeling. Calm was dangerous. Calm made you weak. He walked out of his room and followed the music to the repair bay. His ship sat in the center, surrounded by tools and cables. The damage looked even worse in the daylight. He had not realized how close to death he had been. Was inside the ship, working on the engine. He was the source of the music. A small device sat on a crate nearby, playing the strange human sounds. Sang along as he worked, his voice off-key but happy. Watched from the doorway. The young human did not notice him. He was too focused on his work, his hands deep inside the engine, his face twisted with concentration. "You sing while you work," said. Jumped and nearly dropped his tool. "Oh, Captain, good morning. Yes, I sing. It helps me think. Sorry if it bothered you." "It did not bother me. It confused me." Smiled. "Music is good for the soul. That's what my grandmother used to say. She was an engineer too. She taught me that fixing things should feel good. If you're not enjoying it, you're doing it wrong." Did not understand. Work was work. It was not meant to be enjoyed. It was meant to be finished so you could get paid. "How is my ship?" he asked. "Getting better. The reactor is stable now. We patched the hull leaks, but the engine," smile faded. "The engine has a problem." "What problem?" "Come look." Climbed into his own ship and knelt beside the engine. Pointed to a cluster of components deep inside the machinery. "This is your main thrust regulator," said. "It's cracked. We can fix the crack, no problem, but that's not the real issue." He pulled out a small scanner and showed the readings. "The design is flawed. See this angle? Every time you hit high speed, stress builds up right here. The crack didn't happen by accident. It was going to happen eventually, and it will happen again." Felt cold. "You are saying my engine is defective." "Not defective, just not designed well. It's a common problem in ships. I looked it up last night. Lots of captains have the same issue. They get their ships repaired and a few months later they're back with the same crack. And the repair stations know this. Nodded slowly. Yeah, they know. But fixing the root problem would mean redesigning part of the engine. That's expensive. So they just fix the crack and wait for you to come back. Understood now. This was how the galaxy worked. Fix the symptom, not the cause. Keep the customer coming back. Make them dependent on you. So you will do the same, he said. Fix the crack, send me away. Wait for me to return. Looked uncomfortable. Actually, Chief said we should fix the real problem. What? She said if we just patch the crack, you'll break down again in a few months, probably in deep space, probably alone. She doesn't want that to happen, so we're going to reinforce the whole regulator housing. Change the angle, make it so the stress doesn't build up anymore. Stared at him, that will take longer. A couple extra days, yeah. It will cost more. Probably, but said we can work out the payment later. She said the important thing is making sure you get home safe. Did not know what to say. He stood there looking at the young human trying to find the lie. There had to be a lie. There was always a lie. But just smiled and went back to work, humming along with his music. Left the repair bay. He needed air, he needed to think. He found the observation deck and stood at the window, staring at the stars. His mind raced with questions. What did the humans want? What was their game? Why would they spend extra time and resources on a stranger? You look troubled. He turned. A human woman stood behind him. She was shorter than, with a kind face and gentle eyes. She wore a white coat with a medical symbol on the shoulder. I am Bora, she said. The station medic, you must be captain. Yes. Are you feeling well? You look pale. Well, paler than usual for a. She smiled at her own joke. Did not smile. I am fine. When did you last eat? The question surprised him. He tried to remember. The emergency had lasted for days. He had been too busy trying to save his ship. I do not know. 3 days, maybe 4. Bora's eyes went wide. 4 days, Captain, you need to eat. Cannot eat most galactic foods. The proteins are wrong. They make us sick. I know, I looked it up. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small container. I made this for you last night. It took me a while to figure out the right combination, but I think it should work. Safe nutrients. It won't taste amazing, but it will keep you alive. She held out the container, did not take it. You made food for me, he said slowly. You spent your night making food for a stranger. You're not a stranger, you're our guest. But you do not know me. You do not owe me anything. Bora shrugged. You were hungry, I could help, that's all that matters. She pressed the container into his hands and walked away. Looked down at the food. It was simple, plain, but it was warm, and when he opened it the smell was familiar. It smelled like home. He ate alone by the window, watching the stars. The food was not delicious, but it was good. It filled the emptiness in his stomach. And somehow it filled something else too. Something he had not known was empty. When he finished, he sat for a long time, holding the empty container. Then he went to the communication console. He opened a private channel, one that only could access. He began to type a message. To all captains of the trade fleet, I am currently at a human repair station called I was dying. They saved me. They are fixing my ship properly, not just patching the damage. They made me food when I was hungry. I do not understand these humans, but I think they can be trusted. If your ship needs repair, come here, come to the humans. I do not know why they help strangers, but they do, and that is enough. He sent the message. Then he went back to the repair bay to watch work. The young human was still singing. Sat down on a crate and listened. After a while, without meaning to, he began to tap his foot along with the rhythm. He still did not understand humans, but maybe, he thought, understanding could wait. Maybe for now, it was enough to simply be here in this strange place, with these strange people who helped strangers for no reason at all. Maybe that was enough. 3 months passed and was no longer quiet. Stood on the command deck and watched the ships arrive. There were traders just like. There were cargo haulers, massive vessels with hulls like gray mountains. There were Pelion scouts, small and fast, designed for exploration. And yesterday, a warship had limped into the station with half its crew wounded and its engines burning. They were warriors. They trusted no one. They had fought wars with almost every species in the galaxy. But when their ship was dying and no station was close enough, they had come too. Had treated them like everyone else. She had fixed their ship. Bora had healed their wounded, had patched their weapons systems without asking what they would be used for. When the captain left, he had said nothing. No thanks, no payment. He had simply looked at with his cold, reptilian eyes and nodded once, for that was the highest honor possible. "We need more people," said the station's logistics coordinator. She was exhausted, they all were. "We have 12 ships waiting for repairs. 12. We only have 4 engineers." "I put in a request to Earth," said. "They're sending help. A team of 5 should arrive next week." "Next week, we'll drown before then." Smiled, "Then we swim faster." She turned to greet the arrival. A small shuttle had just docked at Base 7. The passenger who stepped out was not a captain seeking repairs. He was something else entirely. The alien was tall and thin, with silver skin and eyes like black mirrors. He wore robes marked with the symbol of the Galactic Council, the government that ruled most of known space. "I am," the alien said, "diplomatic observer for the Galactic Council. I am here to investigate this station." Kept her face calm. "Investigate? We've done nothing wrong." "That is what I am here to determine." Looked around the busy station. His black eyes missed nothing. "You have attracted much attention, human. Many species now speak of. They say strange things. They say you help strangers for free. They say you fix problems other stations ignore. They say you are kind. Is kindness illegal in the Galactic Council?" "No, but it is suspicious." Stepped closer. "Nothing is free, human. Everything has a price. If you are not charging credits, then you are charging something else. Loyalty, debt, obligation. You are building an army." Laughed, she could not help it. "An army of broken ships." Did not laugh. "You do not understand galactic politics. Trust is power. If enough species trust you, they will fight for you. They will die for you. You are creating allies faster than any species in history. The Council is concerned." Then the Council should be less concerned and more helpful. We're not building an army. We're running a repair station. That's all. Studied her for a long moment. "I will observe. I will interview your guests. I will find the truth." "Observe all you want. We have nothing to hide." Over the next week, watched everything. He followed the engineers as they worked. He sat in the medical bay as Bora treated patients. He interviewed every captain who docked at the station. Every story was the same. A captain told him how the humans had spent 3 days fixing his navigation array. Other stations had refused because the technology was too old, too strange, too different. The humans had simply learned how it worked and fixed it anyway. A Pelion pilot described how she had crashed her scout ship into the station by accident. She had expected anger. She had expected punishment. Instead, had helped her out of the wreckage and asked if she was hurt. Then he had fixed both ships and refused extra payment for the damage she had caused. A merchant explained how Bora had saved his child's life. The child had eaten something poisonous by mistake. No medicine was available. Bora had stayed awake for 30 hours, researching biology, testing solutions, refusing to give up. The child lived. Could not understand. He found the member of the repair team, working alone in Bay 4, was a former military engineer, precise and focused. He was repairing a sensor system. his hands deep inside alien technology that should have been impossible for a human to understand. "How do you do this?" asked. "This technology is not human. You were not trained for this. How do you repair something you have never seen before?" Looked up, his face was smudged with grease, but his eyes were bright. "I figure it out." "But why? This is not your ship. This is not your species. Why do you care?" Thought about the question. He was quiet for a long time. "Because fixing things feels good," he finally said. "When something is broken and I make it work again, that feeling is better than anything. It doesn't matter whose ship it is. It doesn't matter what species built it. The problem exists. I can solve it. That's enough. But there is no profit, no advantage, no gain." Shrugged. "Not everything needs profit. Sometimes helping someone is its own reward." Walked away. He did not understand. He could not understand. He returned to his shuttle and opened a communication channel to the Galactic Council. The face of High Arbiter appeared on the screen. She was ancient, her skin like cracked stone, her eyes like dying stars. "What have you learned?" she asked. Hesitated. "The humans are exactly what they appear to be. They help strangers, they fix ships, they ask for little in return." "That is impossible. No one helps strangers without reason." "I know, but I have found no evidence of deception. No secret army, no hidden debts. They simply help." Was silent for a long moment. "Then they are more dangerous than we thought." "Dangerous?" "Think, the Council maintains order through trade, treaties, and mutual fear. Every species knows that favors must be repaid. Every species knows that trust is earned through centuries of negotiation. But the humans, they give trust freely. They help without asking, and species are responding." She leaned forward, her ancient face filling the screen. "In 3 years, these humans have earned more loyalty than the Council has built in 3 centuries. Not through conquest, not through trade, through kindness. If this continues, species will start asking why they need the Council at all. They will wonder why they should fear us when the humans welcome them with open arms." Understood now. The Council was not afraid of human weapons. They were afraid of human hearts. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "Watch them, learn their weaknesses. We will find a way to stop this before it spreads further." The communication ended. Sat alone in his shuttle thinking. Outside his window, he could see the repair bays. He could see singing as he worked. He could see Bora bringing food to a hungry captain. He could see greeting a new arrival with a smile and a handshake. They were not building an army. They were building something more powerful. They were building a family. And wondered, for the first time in his long life, if maybe the Council was wrong to be afraid. Maybe the galaxy needed more humans. Maybe the galaxy needed more kindness. But he kept that thought to himself. He knew what the Council did to those who disagreed. So he watched, and he waited, and he wondered what would happen when the Council finally made its move. The message arrived at midnight. Was sleeping for the first time in 3 days when her console screamed an alert. She stumbled out of bed and read the words on the screen. Her heart went cold. By order of the Galactic Council, the station designated is required to comply with Standard Trade Regulation 7 Alpha. All repair services must follow Council pricing guidelines. Priority must be given to Council member species. Failure to comply will result in sanctions. She read it again and again. The words did not change. Arrived moments later, still pulling on her jacket. "I got the same message. What does it mean?" "It means the Council wants to control us," said. "Regulation 7 Alpha, I've read about it. It would triple our prices. It would force us to turn away anyone who isn't part of a Council species. Half our guests would lose access." "Can they do that? We're in neutral space." "Neutral space has limits. The Council controls the trade routes. They control the supply chains. If they decide to make our lives difficult—" Did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. and joined them on the command deck. Bora came last, her medical coat still covered in the blood of a patient she had been treating. "What do we do?" asked. Looked at her team. They were tired. They were overworked. They had given everything to this station, to these strangers who came seeking help. "We refuse," she said. "Refuse the Galactic Council." Voice was sharp with fear. "They could destroy us." "Maybe, but if we follow their rules, we destroy everything we built. We become just another station that puts profit over people. We become exactly what we promised never to be." She turned to the console and typed her response. "The station declines to comply with Regulation 7 Alpha. We will continue to serve all species equally, regardless of council membership. We will continue to charge fair prices based on our costs, not council guidelines. We believe that kindness is not a resource to be regulated. We will not apologize for helping people." She sent the message. The room was silent. "Well," said after a moment, "that's one way to make enemies." 3 days later, the council ships arrived. There were 5 of them, massive warships bristling with weapons. They took positions around the station, blocking all entry and exit points. A blockade. High Arbiter appeared on every screen in the station. Her ancient face was hard with authority. "Station, you have the Galactic Council. You have refused lawful regulation. As of this moment, you are under blockade. No ship may enter or leave until you comply with our demands. This is your final warning." The transmission ended. The screens went dark. Stood at the observation window and watched the warships. They were beautiful in a terrible way, their hulls gleaming with power, their weapons aimed at her tiny station. "How many ships are still docked?" she asked. 17 said, "all waiting for repairs." "Tell them to leave. Tell them to go before the council decides to make an example of us." When to deliver the message, she came back 10 minutes later with a strange look on her face. "They won't go." "What?" "They refuse, all of them. They say they came here for repairs and they're not leaving until their ships are fixed. They say," paused, reading from her tablet, "they say that if the council wants to destroy, they'll have to destroy 17 ships full of innocent people first." Felt something catch in her throat. They're using themselves as shields. "It gets better, look outside." Looked. Beyond the blockade she could see lights. Ships. Dozens of them. Hundreds. They were coming from every direction, filling the space around the station like stars gathering around a new sun. "Who are they?" she whispered. Everyone said, "Traders, haulers, Pelian scouts, even a fleet of warships. They're all coming too." The communications console exploded with incoming messages. Opened them one by one. "From a captain, you saved my ship, now I save yours." From a freighter, "We stand with." From the commander whose ship had repaired months ago, "Humans helped us when no one else would. Today, repay that debt. Tell the council that any attack on this station is an attack on the Empire." Read the messages, until her eyes blurred with tears she refused to shed. "They came," said softly. "They actually came." "Of course they came," Bora said. "We helped them. We treated them like people. What did the council think would happen?" The council ships held their position, but they did not fire. They could not fire. To attack now would mean war with dozens of species, including the who had never lost a war in galactic history. High Arbiter appeared on screen again. This time, her face was not so confident. "This is interference in council affairs," she said. "You are all making a grave mistake." A voice answered. It was the first captain had ever helped. "No, Arbiter, you are making the mistake. You think power comes from fear. The humans know better. Power comes from trust. And right now, this station has more trust than the entire council combined." Image flickered. "You would side with primitives over the council. You would risk everything for these humans." "They risked everything for us first," said. When my ship was dying, they ran into fire to save me. When my people were hungry, they made us food. When we were strangers, they called us guests. That is worth more than any treaty you could offer." Other voices joined in. Pelion, species that had fought wars against each other, now spoke with one voice. "Is under our protection. The humans are our friends. Withdraw your blockade or face the consequences." Was silent for a long moment. Her ancient eyes moved from screen to screen, counting ships, calculating odds. "This is not over," she said finally. "The Council will remember this." "We hope so," said, speaking for the first time. "Because we want you to remember what happens when you threaten people who help strangers. We want you to remember that kindness creates more allies than fear. And we want you to remember that the galaxy is changing, Arbiter. You can change with it, or you can be left behind." She cut the transmission. The Council ships held position for 3 more hours. Then, slowly, they began to withdraw. They pulled back from the station, from the fleet of Allied ships, from the impossible situation they had created. The blockade was over. Watched them go. Around her, the station erupted in cheers, hugged, wept with relief. Bora sat down heavily as if a weight had finally lifted from her shoulders, but did not celebrate. She knew this was not the end. The Council would not forgive this humiliation. They would find other ways to strike at, other methods to destroy what the humans had built. But for now, for this moment, they had won. And they had won not with weapons or threats or power. They had won with something simpler. They had won with kindness. And that thought was worth fighting for. 1 week after the blockade ended, a Council ship docked at. Was in the repair bay when the alert came. Her hand stopped moving. Her heart stopped beating. She looked at the screen showing the approaching vessel. It was not a warship. It was a diplomatic cruiser, small and elegant, bearing the symbol of the High Arbiter herself. "Should we refuse docking permission?" asked. Thought about it. She thought about the threats, the blockade, the danger the Council had brought to her station. She had every reason to turn them away. "No," she said, "let them dock. We don't turn anyone away. That's who we are. That's who we have to stay." The cruiser docked at Bay 1. The airlock opened, and High Arbiter stepped onto the station. She was older than she had looked on screen. Her stone-like skin was cracked with age, and she moved slowly as if every step cost her great effort. But her eyes were still sharp, still cold, still dangerous. Met her at the airlock. They stood face to face, human and ancient, young and old. High Arbiter said, "Welcome to." Studied her, "You are not afraid." "Should I be? I could destroy you with a word. I could order your station broken into pieces. I could have you declared an enemy of the Council and hunted across the galaxy." "You could try," said, "but I think you've already learned what happens when you threaten us." His thin mouth twitched. It might have been anger, it might have been something else. "I came to understand," she said. "Understand what?" "You, your station, your people." She looked around the busy repair bay. Aliens of a dozen species worked alongside humans, sharing tools, sharing jokes, sharing food. "I have ruled the Council for 300 years. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have watched species destroy themselves with war and greed. And in all that time, I have never seen anything like this." She pointed at who was teaching a young how to calibrate an engine. That human is sharing knowledge freely. On any Council world, that knowledge would be sold for profit. She pointed at Bora, who was checking the health of a child while the child's mother watched with grateful tears. That human is treating a species she has never met, asking nothing in return. She pointed at who was arguing with an engineer about the best way to repair a weapons system. They were shouting at each other, but they were also laughing. That human and that should be enemies. Instead, they are friends. Turned back to, how have you done this?" "We haven't done anything special," said. We just treat people like people. We help when we can. We share what we have. It's not complicated. It is impossible. No society functions this way. There must be rules. There must be order. There must be control. Maybe, but maybe there can also be trust. Maybe there can also be kindness. Stepped closer. High Arbiter, you've spent 300 years ruling through fear, and where has it gotten you? A galaxy full of species who hate each other, trade wars, real wars, suffering and suspicion everywhere you look. Is that really the best we can do? Was silent. We're not perfect, continued. We make mistakes. Sometimes we can't help everyone. Sometimes we fail. But at least we're trying. At least we're building something better than what came before. She held out her hand. It was a human gesture of peace, of friendship, of trust. You could be part of that, Arbiter. The Council could be part of that. Instead of trying to control everything, you could try to help. Instead of ruling through fear, you could lead through example. It might not be easy. It might take time, but it would be worth it. Looked at the offered hand. Her ancient face showed nothing. No emotion, no response. Then slowly, she reached out and took it. Her grip was weak, her skin cold and rough like old stone. But she held his hand for a long moment, as if feeling something she had not felt in centuries. I came here expecting to find an enemy, she said quietly. Instead, I find a teacher. We're not teachers, we're just mechanics. No, you are something more. You are proof that the galaxy can be different, that species can work together without hatred or suspicion, that strangers can become family. She released hand. I will not pretend that the Council will change overnight. There are many who will resist, many who profit from fear, but I will try. I will try to show them what you have shown me. That's all we ask. Nodded, then unexpectedly her stone face softened. For a moment she almost looked human. My ship, she said, it has been having problems. The engines fail at unexpected moments. Council stations could not fix it. They said the technology was too old, too strange. Smiled, we can take a look. She led to the repair bay where the Council cruiser waited. Was already there, examining the engines with curious eyes. Fascinating, he said. This drive system is ancient. I've never seen anything like it. It's going to take me a while to figure out how it works. Is that a problem? Asked. Nope, it just means I get to learn something new, grinned at her. Would you like some coffee while you wait? Bora just made a fresh pot. Blinked, no one had offered her coffee in 300 years. No one had dared. Yes, she said slowly, I believe I would. Appeared at side. He had stayed at the station after the blockade, claiming his ship needed more repairs. Everyone knew the truth. He had stayed because had become his home. Is this wise? He asked quietly, watching accept a cup of coffee from Bora. She tried to destroy us. She tried to control us, corrected. There's a difference, and now she's learning that control isn't everything. That's worth the risk. You trust her? Thought about the question. She thought about all the aliens who had come to over the past months. The broken ships, the wounded crews, the desperate strangers who had nowhere else to go. I trust that people can change, she said. I trust that kindness is stronger than fear, and I trust that if we keep doing what we're doing, the galaxy will follow. Was quiet for a moment, then he nodded. You know, he said, when I first came here I thought you were crazy. I thought no one helped strangers for free. I thought there had to be a trick. And now I know there is a trick. The trick is that kindness creates more kindness. Help creates more help. Trust creates more trust. It spreads like fire. It cannot be stopped. He looked around the repair bay, and humans worked side by side, and Pelions shared tools. A warrior was teaching how to arm a plasma cannon, while taught him how to disarm it safely. You have started something here, said, something that will change the galaxy forever. Watched her people work. She watched strangers become friends. She watched enemies become allies. She watched the impossible become real. "No," she said softly. "We just opened the door, they walked through it themselves." His voice echoed across the bay. "Hey, Captain, want to help me with this engine? I could use someone who knows technology." Looked at, she nodded. He walked toward the cruiser, toward the young human who sang while he worked, toward the future that was being built one repair at a time, and stood at the center of it all, watching her station fill with life and light and hope. This was why they had come. This was why aliens from across the galaxy flocked to human repair stations. Not for the repairs, not for the prices, for the simple, powerful, impossible truth that humans had discovered long ago. That kindness was the strongest force in the universe. And it was free.